Hi, ladies. Okay, so let's talk about one of the first steps that we can take to help us with our healing after a miscarriage. One of the best things that you can do is talk about it. Um, Share your story, talk about it. You don't have to share it everywhere, but you do need to find someone who you can talk to and share your story a lot. It's not something that you tell it once and it's over. Um, Very often we find ourselves telling the story over and over and over again, and that is actually very common when we've gone through a loss, any type of grief, pregnancy loss, a death. We need to tell the story to get it out of our body. And in order to do that, we need to find a safe person to talk to. And that could be a friend, or it could be a coach or a counselor. And that's oftentimes why women turn to therapists after they've had a pregnancy loss, or coaching, because a coach can help you also go through the healing process and give you some tools to help you heal after a pregnancy loss. So one of the first things I would absolutely recommend is actually talking about it. Tell your story as often as you can, because when you don't tell it, it gets stuck in us. And I've said it before, but it gets stuck in us and shows up later as disease or anxiety or depression. So getting it out and releasing those emotions is one of the best tools that you can do to speed up the healing process and to not have it affect your life later on. Because if we don't go through the healing, it will affect your life later on, and it's going to show up in ways that you may not notice, and you're not going to connect to the miscarriage. So I think oftentimes we try to hide the pain. Some of us, me, drank wine and was just kind of hiding away from the emotions and ignoring them instead of releasing them. And it wasn't until I actually started writing my blog and writing about what we had been through and talking about it often that I actually stopped drinking wine. I wasn't hiding from the pain anymore, and it wasn't showing up. The pain wasn't showing up in other ways. So I know it's hard. I understand that it can be very difficult to tell such a painful story, and it's hard to find someone who is willing to listen to that over and over. So I suggest either finding someone who's a safe person who you know is going to listen, or finding a therapist or a coach who's going to help you heal through this. If you are needing a place to go to, you don't have a person to turn to, you don't have a therapist that you feel comfortable with, please come to the Miscarriage Warrior app. I'm a coach. I can definitely help you, and I'm more than happy to listen to your story. I feel honored to listen to it. Or you can just go on there and write about it, and other people can help you or give you suggestions. So I just highly encourage you to don't shut down, to not keeping it inside of you, because that will show up later. So please, it's painful at the time, but it's more painful later when you don't know why it's showing up, or how, why these things are going on in your life. You don't have that relation to, you can't figure out why it's what it is, and you don't relate it back to the miscarriage. So either go to the Miscarriage Warrior app, find a therapist who specializes in grief, preferably someone who specializes in a pregnancy loss, because if you find a therapist who has never been through that pain or has never been trained in it, you might find that they say something kind of silly, like, you should be over this by now, or hey, you can try again, or those comments that people make. So find someone who has definitely been through that loss and that pain. All right, loves, I will be back on here another time, sending you loves.